Welcome to another video in our One Take series for Transformation Advisor. This one is what's new in Transformation Advisor 3.2. So I've Transformation Advisor 3.2 loaded up here. We can see it right there. So what's new? We've added a capability to group together your applications in your workspace. So that's going to give you a better insight into the total cost for dealing with a particular group of your applications. And we've some other plans for that in future releases. We've also significantly improved the bulk import export. So when you do your bulk import and export, not only does it bring the data, it's going to bring your group's information as well. And the bulk import now supports a no hierarchy option, which basically means you can get a flat zip of zips and easily upload them into Transformation Advisor. In terms of the data collector, we're now using the binary scanner version 22.0.0.3, and that includes the JAX RPC conversion tool pre-validation and a host of performance improvements as well. If you are using the binary scanner, there's a --TA option that's going to produce a zip, and that zip Transformation Advisor can now consume, and it's the same as if you had uploaded that zip from the data collector. Additionally, in this release, the ability to do migration assessments for MQQ managers has been removed. Okay, so we're going to do things in a slightly different order than they're listed here. So what we're going to start off with is I'm going to show you the no hierarchy bulk import option up here. Then I'm going to, with that data, I'm going to make some groups and I'm going to export it out. Okay, let's get stuck in straight away. So, okay, so what we have here is a set of zips that I've gotten. I've run the data collector on various systems and come up with a set of zips. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to zip these guys up. Let's take a look here where we are. Okay, widen that, make it a bit clearer. So here are my 4 zips. I'm going to zip them up into, I'm just going to call it data.zip, and I'm going to include in that zip all of my zip files. So now I have a zip of zip files called data.zip. And what I'm going to do, that's this guy right here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to open up my APIs. That's our Swagger API. Excuse me. And just on a note on the Swagger API, previously, depending on when the server restarted, the sequence of the APIs used to change, which used to drive me crazy. So we've updated to a later version, which includes lots of fixes, and one of them is everything's in a nice alphabetical order now. So I want to do a bulk import. So let's take a search there for bulk import. Here we go. So here's my bulk import. I'm going to try it out. So what do? I'm going to put in my name of my archive, which was data. Is there a hierarchy in here? That's going to be true in this case. I have no hierarchy, which means my import data doesn't include information about workspaces and collections and anything like that. Instead, it's a set of flat zips, and we're going to auto detect the collection information. And then I need to pick my file. So I will just drag and drop in my data zip, and I'm going to execute that. So that loading you're seeing there is not the loading of the data, it's me pushing my zip file up to my Transformation Advisor server. As soon as it's loaded, you get back a status ID so you can track how the load is going on. This is because, depending on the amount of data that you're loading up, there could be quite a lot there. So let's just stick that URL in there. And you can see I got my bulk status and what's happening in here. I got 2 messages so far, and we can see it's created a workspace with the name data. That was the name of my zip and the archive name that I've imported. Sorry, the archive name that I typed into the Swagger. And we can see number of archives to be imported is 4. There was 4 zips in the original set of data that I zipped up. So you can refresh that, and we can see here now it's imported 2 of those archives. It's imported the last archive for me, and now I get a bulk upload complete. So what I'm expecting is I'm now expecting to go back to my UI. I'm expecting to find a workspace called data, and I'm expecting to find the data from these 4 zips are in there. So let's take a look. I'm just going to refresh my workspace. And there we have it. There's my data workspace, and all my data is loaded. So that's just a very convenient way, if you have lots of zips, to get them uploaded into Transformation Advisor. So the next kind of thing that's what's new about 3.2 is the ability to create groups. So what I can see here is that I've got, for the data I have, I'm going for WebSphere Liberty. I can see that I got 31 days of common code, 16 and a half days of unique app code. But what if, for example, I was only interested in a subset of my data? In this particular case, and what you can see here now as well is we've all checkboxes which we didn't have before. So actually, for this migration that I'm going to do, maybe only the ACME applications are coming across. My other applications are applications that I'm not interested in. So I can tick any of them and I get this little blue bar at the top and I have an option to add to the group. So I'm going to add this to a group and I'm going to call this group ACME Proof of Technology. And here, you can see the apps that, the EAR files that I'm putting in. And if I just click add to group, okay, so you can see here that it's been successfully created. I can click on view disappeared just before I clicked on it. I'm talking too much. And over here on the left-hand side, you can now see that ACME Proof of Technology. So there's a slight change here too in the left nav. You can pick your workspace as before, but what you have then is I only have Java applications installed. And what I have is my options between all my Java applications, which is my whole workspace, or any specific group that I've created. I see the data coming up here. And here, what you can see is all my ACME jars. And in this particular case, I've got no common code in here, but what I do have is my unique app code. I've got my 8 days. So the key thing here is that if I'm just focused on a subset of my workspace data, I can look at that. I can have a nice, easy shortcut to how to see it. And then, I can just click back here, return to my workspace, and all my workspace information is there as before. So I might look at this and I might, want to interact with my group some more. I have some options here. What I can also do, of course, is interact with this. So I might look across this and actually say, you know what, for whatever reason, my, annuity web is actually being retired. We're not going to move it across. So I'm able to go ahead and remove that from the group. And all of those interactions in the group will apply just for the group. So that application is still going to exist in my workspace. And now we're down to our 5 applications. We're all okay. So now I have created my group. I have my workspace data. And I just wanted to show what happens when we do an export of that data. So if we come back in here, and previously we had our little bulk import, and now we're going to do our bulk export. So I'm going to try this out. And in this particular case, this bulk export is going to export all of the data in my system. So if I just click on this, you'll see that I have a file available for download. I'm going to click on that file to download, take a look at it in the Finder. And what you can see here is my bulk export. And because you can bulk export at all different times, we just stick a timestamp on it. And just as a note, anytime you're doing upgrades, we always recommend you do a bulk export so that you have all your data in a convenient manner. So I'm just going to swap over to a different transformation advisor that I have. We'll take a look at this one. So for example, the machine that I have my transformation advisor on might be getting closed down or decommissioned. So here we don't have any data. I'm just going to jump across into the Swagger API for this. And we want to do a bulk import. So let's take a look at that, bulk import. And let's try this guy out. So what are we going to need? We're going to need our bulk archive name, and we're going to need the actual file itself. So let's take a look at this. This is the one that we generated. Oh, that's my folder, sorry. This is the zip file that we generated. I'm just going to take its name, stick that into the bulk archive name. I'm going to take the file and drag it into my drag and drop. And I'm going to execute. And the actual file is now being copied onto the server, and the actual bulk import's underway. So let's take a look at that one. That was our old bulk import. Let's take a look at our new one, which is on our new machine, and see what our status says. And our status is saying, yeah, we got 5 messages. Okay, great. So you'll see the import here is a little bit different because we're recreating the structure that we exported. So for example, we don't auto detect the collections because you could have modified those collection names deliberately. So what we can see here is that there are 3 collections found to be imported. and we have 2 archives being imported already. And we can see that a group has been found, and that group name was a CME POT, which is the one I created, and the bulk upload is complete. Okay, so if we go back to that same Transformation Advisor, we just refresh our screen, and we can see the data workspace, and inside in this data workspace, there's my group with my 5 applications. There we go. So that's what we have for Transformation Advisor 3.2. Thanks very much.